First of all, Reggie, the Fox Special on Tupac that had you in it, how did you go about getting in that? How did they contact you, and what did they tell you they were going to ask you about before they met up with you? Or did they tell you anything at all beforehand, before the interview?
No, I was reluctant on doing that interview, but the only reason I did it was because they had told me that Suge had already made assertions that that I knew the Rampart cops, and so I just really was going on to rebut that. I had never met any of those officers. They never even said that they knew me or met me, and that was the main reason for going there, just to show that I didn't know any of those officers and they never worked with me. Why would Suge say that? You know, he always trying to be a comedian or be funny or say something to get up under my skin lately. But, you know, it don't make any sense, and I know he don't realize what he's saying, because that means if he think that I hired or knew any of those Rampart officers, that means he was allowing me to hire guys that was having a relationship, or one of the guys, the main guy, Kevin Gaines, was having a relationship with his wife, and why would he allow me to do that? So he's trying to be funny by saying that I knew the guys, but you know, he's making himself look stupid by even saying that. That's like saying that he'd be having some guys working for him that's screwing his estranged wife.
Okay. So they initially hit you up to do an interview, and normally you would probably be like, no, I'll pass. But they're like, just so you know, Suge said this about you, and we want to get your response. Is that kind of how they played it to get you to do it?
That's correct.
Okay. So when you did do the taping for it, I'm assuming they did it at your house. How long would you say they were there for when they did the interview? Because, go ahead.
Yeah, they taped for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. But you know how they dice up stuff, that they only put what they really want or whatever motive they trying to push, which was, you know, that I knew the Rampart cops from the Russell Sullivan theory. For some reason they had that theory. But, you know, like I said, if I knew any of the Rampart cops, why are they telling and doing time and all of that, and have not one of them ever said that they knew me or even met me or even worked for me. The whole time that they've been investigated, interviewed, and then did jail time.
Yeah. Now, the way they tried to end your segment on the show was they tried to make it like you were sweating, you were nervous. I touched on this briefly when we had the quick little update, but I don't think people realize when they film for TV, they have a lot of lights, they have a lot of equipment, so I can imagine it gets hot. So just from your point of view, how did the interview end? Because to viewers, obviously, it looked like you just said, I'm not going to talk about the Biggie stuff because I'm not, I believe what is in Greg Caden's book. But then they made it look like you were nervous or whatever, and it kind of somewhat abruptly ended. On your end, did it end pleasant? Did they thank you? And, you guys talked about more stuff that never was aired? Or how did the whole situation go once it started to wrap up towards the end of whatever they were trying to film for your segment?
Yeah. To be honest, that part was done before we even started getting interviewed. And so they added that afterwards or doing the segment. But I think I talked to them about an hour after that, after that thing. But what it was is, hey, quite frankly, it was the lights. And I was sick at the time. I was going through some dehydrations and some stuff, and I didn't realize how sick I was. People don't realize that, don't care, which I don't care that they don't care. But, I lost over 130 pounds from March until, when I got admitted into the hospital up in sometime in November. So I was dealing with some illness. Been dealing with illness, and thank God, it's all over. and the doctors figured out what was wrong, and I'm feeling better now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely good to hear. So, when you watched the special, were you surprised in the way they flipped it, or did you kind of have an idea that more than likely they're going to try to cut it up and feed the narrative that they wanted to portray?
Yeah, I didn't have any problems with any of the questions they asked or anything like that. You know, the part of trying to make it have the tape rolling while I'm sitting there drinking some water waiting for them to come back, or prior to them coming. I forget when that part was done, but that part was surprising that they did me that way. But I knew IC didn't know anything about it because Soledad was controlling it. He was just mainly there for, I guess, for namesake or to get viewers or whatever. But he, you know, he didn't really ask any questions. He was cool. He was taking pictures with my family and my kids and stuff. So who knows what was their theory or why they tried to do that? I don't know. I guess it helped their ratings, and it helped the people,
right?
The conspiracy people, you know, have something to talk about. But you know, hey, I done took lie detector tests and everything. Everybody knows I have nothing to do with this stuff. So and
just in case people don't know, when the Rampart scandal went down and all that stuff, and when the Biggie stuff and the Tupac and all that went down, when you were contacted about any of the incidents, from what I can remember, what Greg Caden said is you were always forthcoming, you were always professional, and you were always kind of stand-up person. But for people that don't know, when you were interviewed or asked questions about that stuff, it was always pleasant, right? Because obviously if there was something on you, they would have already had it because all these investigations legitimately went down like 10 years ago, correct?
That's correct, you know. So, you know, it's unfortunate. And you know, RJ and them always ask me, well, why are they talking down? The reason why I'm talking down is because they keep coming up with different theories. I think they on their third book, fourth DVD. And each time they done made me, you know, a part of something and then change up theories each time. And so, you know, you get tired of just letting people just create stuff and coming at you any type of way. So now I'm going to fight them every step of the way. I'm hoping one day he get a distributor or something, somebody that I can sue that'll bite into it. But unfortunately, once he go and talk, you know, he overtalks himself and people start being like, this dude is full of crap. They get mad, him and JMX get mad that people, you know, always kill down their theories, but they kill down their theories because they're so way off base. They so far off base, and that's why people, they see through them, and they don't realize that, you know, these people, the Ben Crumps and all of them, they're smart, and they see through their bullshit, and they shoot it down. And so, you know, they always get upset, and then they want to start, you know, contacting, you know, RJ done contacted LAPD about 2 or 3 times trying to file cases against me, talking about I threatened him and Michael Carlin and stuff like that. The JMX case, I'm talking about, I send people knocking on his door. I don't know where they getting these theories, but they're trying to create stuff to keep something going on. You know, even now he talking about sending paperwork to the Bar Association on Ben Crump in Florida. You know, why they, you know, what did he get off on doing that? You know, we have you know, we have names for people like that, but you know, I know that he's a white man, so he dealing on a different code. But that's some rat shit that he'd be doing, and some bullshit that he'd be doing. But I guess that's just the type of person he is. You know, even
how recently did he? Go ahead.
He recently tried to contact the people that's overseeing my case to try to get me in trouble. But that's RJ. You know, luckily, the more he talked, the more people see through his BS and all of that. But you know, this
why
is
do
a
you
man
think he
that
has
called
it in
Ben
for you
Crump
so much?
a monkey. He called Ben Crump a monkey. You know, and people.
I saw that.
And black folks is, you know, going around and parading around this man like he's some type of, Tupac Justice Cigar. He not for Tupac. He didn't know Tupac. Don't even know anything about Tupac. Probably didn't even know who Tupac was until about 2003, 2004. But people want to make him like he's looking for justice for him. No, he's about himself, trying to do whatever he can to make a dollar, which is wrong. I mean, it's right if you tell them the truth, but don't create things. Don't lie on people. I kind of never had a problem with Russell Poole because he didn't lie. He usually just, try to put out whatever he believed and stuff like that. He didn't get crazy until he got with the RJs and the Frank and all of that. Then that's when he started creating stuff and lying and believing crazy theories. But that's the only problem I have with guys like that. If they trying to get to the bottom or get to the truth or something, then that's fine. But when you know something ain't true, just like he's putting out David Kenner on 50% of Death Row. That ain't never been mentioned anywhere. David Kenner didn't own a percentage of Death Row Records. That's why he kind of got put to the side, doing all of this stuff towards the end of Suge Freedom before 96 was because he found out that Cantrock and Kenner was stealing from him, and Suge got rid of them and put them to the side for a minute and made Steve Cantrock go and contact his firm and then tell them how he's been stealing and embezzling money and taking care of things that he shouldn't have been taking care of. And that's when he, went and contacted, and that's when his firm said, hey, we need to get you protection and put him in the hiding with the FBI and all of that. But all of that went down, but nothing ever happened because there was nothing going on. There was nothing going on. And it's just upsetting.
So did Suge find out that Kenner was stealing money from him, or no?
He feels that they were together, but he still had loyalty to Kenner, and so he just told Kenner pretty much y'all need to get this fixed and get this done. And he told Kenner that he was disappointed in him, and Kenner got pushed to the side, and that's when Suge did get violated and got put in jail, and then his job was just to get him out. Do
you think he could have gotten him out? Do you think it's odd that, I'm not trying to feed into any conspiracy or any of that, but seeing, being around Kenner and seeing the power that he had as an attorney, not in any sort of in the company, but just as an attorney, do you find it suspicious in any way that Suge was sent away for the amount of time he was over the video, or do you think it's because there was video they couldn't deny it, they couldn't spin it?
Well, the judge said it took him 13 times to determine that it was a kick. So if it takes you 13 times to determine that it's a kick, that shows that something's wrong there. But Suge got to be the monster that needed to be set down for a minute. And so that was the whole reason for that. And unfortunately, when you get put on probation is a lot easier to get you put in jail than a jury trial. And they just wanted him to sit down and show him a lesson. And it was so many different allegations and things going on at the time where it was probably best that he had to go sit down for a minute just to regroup. And, it was too much going around the record company at that time. But, even RJ always talking about Sharita, Snoop, suing her and all of that. All of this stuff didn't get happen until he got sold to Master P. And that's when he went to go and got the management contract dissolved. He always trying to say, well, nobody liked you, Sharita. Snoop had to sue you. He sued just to get the management contract dissolved. That's all that was about.
So just to get out of it so that he could get the management.
And start sitting up there and talking like he knows so much. When I swear over 50% of the stuff he say be inaccurate, be false, be just made up, just something he done heard and he want to speak on it like it's the truth. And he just put out so much inaccurate information that it's unbelievable. The voice, his voice just makes me irk every time I hear it because of the things that he say that is so inaccurate. I just hate that people believe that bull crap. People sit up there. He got his own. He got his little 20 or 30 different followers. That's his A-man, crew that they have. I mean, other people chime in, or like you said, they have other listeners, but it's the only one that's always common is the same 25 to 20, 30 people. Because I've been kind of listening to him lately, and I guess they call it trolling or whatever. But I just want to hear all this bull crap because I'm waiting for him to slip up and do something wrong, or find out that he has a distributor or somebody behind him with some money.
Why do you think he has it out for you so much? I mean, in your personal opinion, why do you think he likes to throw? Do you think he truly believes the stuff he says, or do you think he has to have somebody?
He can't believe the things they said because they done changed up so many times, so many different stories. But the reason why he has it out for, because that's his only platform, so that's his life, and that's the only thing he can put out there that's catchy. Throwing against the wall and trying to stick. But people in the positions, once they listen to him, he always get knocked down. Any type of authority or any type of real people that listen to what he's saying, it always get knocked down. And then that's when he get upset, and then he start threatening, even with his listeners. You let them say something bad about him, or say something like, or question him. Then he wants to kick them off delete them, or start talking bad to them. It's just the arrogance of this man. I don't understand why people deal with it, because he's so arrogant. And JMX, quite frankly, he's a cheerleader of RJ's lately. He wasn't always that way, but he's not as bad as RJ. I just hate the arrogance of this man. It's like he's sitting on this horse, like he's the only person that knows things, and when he speaks, that's the factual. And I really wish Ben Crump, and I know he probably ain't listened to him. He can care less. Probably don't even remember who R.J. Bonds is. But I wish he would listen to his bull crap and hear all the stuff he's saying and threatening to go to the bar on him and all of that, so he can really shut this man down.
Well, just so people know, because I know you and I watched it, but it got deleted probably 10 to 15 minutes after they posted it. But for people that are listening to this interview that don't know, once the finale of the A&E series aired, RJ Bonds did a live YouTube video with J-Mix, and he basically did a very angry rant where he spoke of his disappointment of them truly investigating the little half-dead.
Which I told you they were going to do. Him and JMX was going to do.
Yes. And then he just talked really bad about Ben Crump and said he wanted to be a lawyer because of him, but that he's nothing but a monkey, which is a super racial slur, and that he didn't care if Ben Crump and them sued him, that he had already talked about it with his wife, that he didn't give a shit, and he's going to expose people and do this and that. And then, as you and I both know, you made a comment saying, how can people respect this guy when he's, using racial slurs? And then they immediately, within 5 minutes, deleted the video. So when people are listening to this, they're going to wonder, like, oh, well, what's he talking about? I went on J-Mix's channel, and I don't see RJ Bonds calling him a monkey. But just so people know, it was a live reaction that they found, and then I guess they realized, or I'm sorry, not they, but I guess RJ realized what he said when you commented, and then they pulled that video down off of YouTube. So just for clarification for people listening to this. But back to the Fox one, I think from what Soledad and them said is the reason they couldn't really get into the murder rap book is they said basically there's a segment where they say Greg Kiden will not be interviewed. You know why he didn't do the interview? Do you want to speak on that, or do you want to leave that as is?
Well, he has a deal, and Greg got a deal, and he's putting out. He got a big series with one of the networks, I think USA or something like that.
Yeah, USA Network.
In February, he got a 9 to 10 part series, and then I think they pick up the second season of his book. And so he don't need to be in anything like that when he got a network with this. They gave him pretty much a 20 series deal. So he, somebody believes what they're saying, and they were doing reenactments and everything, so they got money behind it.
Right.
And so that's
okay. So now on to the oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's the reason why Greg picking and choosing what he want to be a part of.
Okay. And so on to the A&E one. There was, they explored numerous theories and all that. Just for my own curiosity, when you see them do, it wasn't even the full episode because it got shut down really quickly, but when you see them explore the R.J. Bonds theory of the little half-dead and the Patton brothers and all that stuff, what is your, I know, you know it's not true, but when you see it on TV and you see people actually discussing it and taking it seriously, and then you see the reaction from Little Half Dead and all that, what was your reaction when you saw that episode?
Well, I was glad to see who Little Half Dead was. That was my first time really ever seeing him. Like I said, once I came around Death Row in '95, he wasn't around. I can honestly say I never met this man before, seen him before in my life. But RJ and them will say poo-hoo to that because that'd kill their whole theory. But I never met Little Half Dead. I sure wouldn't have picked him being that heavy or that big of a guy. I thought he was one of the thinner guys that was around. But I can honestly say I don't know. I had never even met Little Half Dead. So
yeah.
It's crazy to think that we would have anything to do with the Tupac murder. That's why I get upset and shoot it down and don't even like talking about it because you just don't talk about stuff that's nonsense. And to say that you killed Pac or have something to do with Pac getting dealt, but even Suge is nonsense. As much as I hate and dislike Suge right now, I know he had nothing to do with it. It just didn't make any sense. They keep saying Tupac fired David Kidder or stuff like that. He didn't fire him for dealing with his appeal. That was not going to happen. Tupac always was ranting or sending off something, or a letter or something like that. But that's how he got his attention. But there were times when Suge wasn't talking to him and stuff like that. And then Noble talking about he was going to be signed to QD3 label. And everybody knows. Doggy Style is going to be signed to Death Row. Machiavelli Records is going to be signed to Death Row. I think Hammer Time was the name of Hammer's thing. It's going to be signed to Death Row. And then Eric B. and some guys out there had something called Death Row East that was going to be signed to Death Row. Nobody was going anywhere. Everybody was happy. And to say that people were leaving and all that, I even heard somebody say Tracy Robinson or something like that was managing Tupac. No, Tracy wasn't. Matter of fact, she had got fired back in March or April or something like that, May. She didn't even do his last few videos. Kevin Swain did the videos, the last 3 or 4 videos that Tupac did. So,
do you know why she got fired?
Not really. I think it was something to do with that fight on the set with I Ain't Mad at You, or not I Ain't Mad at You.
The Maid video? Yeah.
Something dealing with that where something happened, but Tupac got rid of her. But Kevin Swain did the House of Blues taping, and Rob Johnson, been there, done that, did the other videos and stuff like that. That was done towards the end.
Okay. So any of the times that you mentioned Tupac would every now and then he'd get mad and write a letter or whatever. Were there many instances that you noticed that he was upset with anything? And the only reason I ask that is because in all of these specials, they always mention that Tupac wanted accounting for his royalties. He wanted to audit the label.
Even
do you think
there was never an issue about that, about money? He wasn't even due money until October. He died and got shot in September. And they try to say because of a $4 million payment that was due to him. Do they know what $4 million was? that was just a one-time advancement. Suge could have walked in the Interscope and got a $3 to $4 million advance at any day, any time. So to say he gonna kill Tupac because he owed him $4 million, do you know how absurd that is? He probably got advanced that for Machiavelli. So he could have just took that money from Machiavelli and gave that money to him if that was an issue. That was never an issue. And plus, Interscope is the one that paid the money directly anyway. So Suge got advances. He got advances. He had a $20 million a year deal of getting advanced. So to say he was unrecouped or anything like that, I mean, you couldn't even believe the amount of money we got, advanced after that. I mean, with Tupac being gone and stuff like that.
Right.
It was just, money was just, for the greatest hits album, I think we walked over there and got a $3 million advance just to put it out, and that was just on greatest hits. And then I think we ended up getting our first royalty check for like $8 million or something like that. So the numbers that people are just talking about, they just don't know what they're talking about.
Right. So $4 million basically at that time back then was nothing. They could have walked in and been like, no problem.
They would have cut that in a heartbeat. I mean, we still had stuff ready to come out. We had the Christmas album ready to come out, the Death Row Greatest Hits ready to come out. Like I said, Machiavelli. I think we did all of that in that fourth quarter.
Dogfather. You had a lot of stuff right at the end of the night.
They came at the end of the fourth quarter. That's why we went to the Bahamas to finish up all of that stuff that we knew that we had to get out before the fourth quarter. And so it's just absurd the things that people throw out and stuff like that. And like I said, he wasn't even due any statements yet. Your contract is 180 days from the time of the release. If when your first royalty statement is due. I think it wasn't due until October. All Eyes on Me came out the end of February. March. I think it was February 29th. So that would have been March. So you do 6 months from there is when his first statement was due. So
sometime in end of September. One thing I don't understand is well, they always say too, like, oh, he only had, $3,000 or some. They always say some tiny number. He only had X amount of dollars in this bank account. And the part that always that I never understood is that people always say, oh, well, see, that's why he was getting ripped off from death row. He didn't have any money in his bank account. But you also have to wonder, where was the money from him doing the 2 movies, Gridlocked and Gang Related? Where was the money from his royalty statements from Me Against the World that, went platinum the year before? I just don't understand that they looked in the wrong bank account.
And in fairness to the movie sets and all of that, he hadn't got paid yet because they don't generally pay until the movies came out, and both of the movies came out after his death. So his brother probably got the royalties and all of that from that.
Okay.
Like I said,
but he should at least had Me Against the World money, right?
He had a penthouse on Wilshire. He had a brand new house he had just was moved into in Calabasas. He had about 6 cars, and then all of this was new stuff that he had just got being out of jail for 6 to 8 months. And he was getting, I think it was he was getting $50,000 a month advance, and
plus he would ask for more, right?
50 or 75,000 advance. Plus everything was getting paid for. He didn't have to pay for no studio time or anything. All of that was paid for. Right. Now, they eventually got recouped. Right. It would have got recouped, on the state.
It would have gotten recouped anyway because it would have came out of his royalties, right?
It would have came from his royalties. So it was going to get paid back. But my point is, he had money. He was coming in. He wasn't unhappy. He wasn't unhappy like people are trying to put it out that he was. And like I said, he wasn't even due any statements yet. The only thing I ever heard Pac asking about, or that he was concerned about, was I'm going back to jail? Am I going to lose this appeal? That's the only questions he would ever ask. Was this appeal? Am I going to have to go back to jail? But quite frankly, he had
what was
no
you guys'
intentions on
plan
going back
at the label? What was the plan if he did get, let's say the biggest thing didn't happen, he had his hearing, and he did get sent back to jail? What did you guys have a loose plan of what would have happened, or you were just going to kind of wait to see?
We didn't think like that. I wasn't in the loop like that then. To say how the conversations went between him, Suge, and David Kenner. Of course, everybody was being optimistic that the case was, that he wouldn't have to go back, because we felt they wouldn't have let him out if that was the case. But I can say I know he had no intentions on going back. I hate to say what he was planning on doing if he had to go back, but I definitely heard heard what his plans were. People would be like,
I can only assume he would have died before he went back to jail, literally.
He said he was going to have one of the outlaws shoot him in the head if he had to go back, is what he said.
Damn.
But who knows?
Yeah. So he really didn't want to go back.
He couldn't go back. You remember he did some dissing them.
Yeah.
Dissing the correctional officers and stuff. So he had no intention of going back. But, people don't want to hear that. But, that's the truth.
So when the shooting happened in Vegas, and this is just to clear up all the A&E stuff and the Fox stuff, when the shooting happened in Vegas, how soon after the actual event, the actual shooting, how soon did you know that who it was that shot, that it was Orlando Anderson and the Southside Crip guys? Did you know the second, or did you guys go back to Suge's house or the hospital, or where did you go to where you knew, like, oh, this is exactly who did it?
No, not for a day or two. Once everybody got together and was talking about it, did I learn that what had happened at the hotel. I didn't know about that probably until the day or the next day after the shooting.
Okay.
That what had happened, and so about a day or two.
Okay.
I think the war in Compton didn't start until about 3 or 4 days after the shooting.
Right.
So I guess during all that time when you were learning what was going on and who we suspected.
Right. Okay. And then there's some of the bodyguards said that they heard a Nextel. I know you've heard this before, but I'm going to ask anyway just to get it out. That they heard after the shooting somebody was with you. I can't remember which one of the bodyguards it was, but that he heard your Nextel say, another voice said, "I got him," and then your voice came on and said, "Don't talk on this radio." Is there any truth to that, and if there is, was it in reference to anything other than what people are assuming it is?
No truth at all. No, to say got him or anything like that. Nobody said anything like that over the radios or anything like that. That's just Michael Moore being creative and them creating stuff after they done met with producers and stuff like that 5 and 10 years later when they got their little 15-minute of fame. But I really think that's why he couldn't deal with life himself after he knew he told no lies and stuff, and that's why he OD'd on drugs himself. So, people want to always talk about they died in suspicious manner. Michael Moore died OD on steroids and something. I don't even know what else. And Frank put a gun in his mouth and blew his brains out. That ain't no suspicion. Yeah, that's suicide. That's motherfuckers that can't deal with life and want to kill themselves. That's weak. Not having God in your life. That's what that is.
And for J-Mix and them to post tape recordings of you talking to Frank, have you heard those?
I heard them, and none of them sound bad. I'm just telling them to come to court. Do your job. Tell the truth. I'm not telling them what to say. I'm telling them to tell the truth. Ain't nothing on there about me threatening them or saying this or saying that. That's all of them creating stuff. None of that stuff says that I threatened them or did anything. It's like, hey, niggas, you need to come to court. You got paid to be there. You need to come to court and tell the truth. But by then, you know, they had their theories and not their theories. You know, they were scared and coming around and people telling Frank stuff. And, you know, I told him to get out of there. I know I told him to get out of the house just to leave, you know, because people was upset. He was riding around with his drop top, you know, 500 Mercedes, riding around when his client was laying up in a, you know, death bed, you know, in a bed fighting for his life. But he riding around with his little white bunny in the car, you know, like nothing happened. And that had people upset. You know, that was what people was confronting him about. Hey, man, this guy is riding around, smiling and laughing, you know, like nothing happened. You know, if somebody you was supposed to be watching this guy got killed, you'll be kind of like, you know, a little remorseful at the hospital or trying to find out who did it or something like that. Not just riding around Vegas Strip with your little bunny in the car. That's what they were upset. That was the heat that I was catching. That's what I was getting questioned about.
Right. Because ultimately you would be responsible because he worked for you for Right Way.
Correct.
So it would reflect on you,
yeah,
Frank's actions.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was
Gotcha.
just like hammering people like that was, you know, like I said, not people in any control or had any, you know, decision making. You know, because me and Shiv was 100. You know, we didn't have any problems. You know, You know, Frank was questioning why he didn't have his gun, but he said because he jumped from his car to Pac told him to drive the Outlaws in Gaddafi car at the last minute. That's in his book and everything. Not until he met R.J. Bonds do he come up with the other stories. But prior to that, everything that he ever interviewed or any books and all that, it was because Pac at the last minute asked him to drive the Outlaws because they never had any driver license.
Right.
His gun was
Because when I always asked about that, like back in '98 or whenever when I was with you guys, is I was always asking, they would say, they couldn't carry their guns because if they got caught carrying the guns, the Club 662 would lose its liquor license.
Well, that was
was that part of it?
That was the part of inside the club. Like I said, bodyguards were never told not to carry guns. That's the big lie that comes up later. It was only the people working inside Club 662 was told not to have any guns on them. And
okay.
That's that. It wasn't no bodyguards. No bodyguards was even at the meeting. Frank wasn't even at the meeting. You notice he never say he was told that. He always say Michael Moore told him that was what was told. Because Michael Moore wasn't assigned to Pop. He was assigned to work the club. And Michael Moore was not authorized to Michael Moore wasn't authorized to carry a gun in the state of California unless it was exposed. He was a fireman. He was not no police officer. Quite frankly, police officers wasn't supposed to be carrying any firearms in the state of Nevada. Now, we have a professional courtesy where they generally won't mess with you, but we weren't even authorized to carry guns in the state of Nevada. But we did.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So to the A&E Special, how did they contact you and how did they get you to go about doing an interview? How did that approach go, different from the Fox one?
Well, quite frankly, both of them I did them because I needed some money. That was when well, the A&E was done way before the Fox interview was done.
Yeah. That was like a year ago or so, right?
Yeah. The A&E was done at the first part of the year. I had been talking to Stephanie way before then. Where RJ always tried to act like he did. I guess she was using everybody like that because I was helping her get people and stuff like that as well for their show. But anyway,
because in that one they make it like the interview ends when you say that's enough.
The Fox one was done sometime in September or something like that.
Right, because they bring up the current events and all that. Yeah.
It may have been August when I did that one. So I did that one.
Okay.
Shit, needing money. to pay my attorneys.
Right.
That and the reason of, the accusation about being linked to the Rampart cops were the two reasons that I did the Fox one.
Okay. And on the A&E one, they have it end abruptly by them asking about Biggie stuff or something, and then you say, "That's it, I'm done." In reality, how long did that shoot go on? I know it's a year ago now, so it's been a while.
I tell you,
but
that didn't end right there. That's just how they edited it. But
right.
they probably asked me about different other things after that. It wasn't like I just stopped talking and it was like, oh, no more questions. I just said,
Yeah.
You asked me about Pop. That's absurd to me. And so it's just like, I don't have nothing to say about that. That's a lie. It's not true. And then, how many times can you deny something, You just have no part of that, and that's that. That's crazy. And, it's almost insulting to be accused of having something to do with the murder of Tupac. I can understand.
Why do you think?
And I'm not saying I did, because I didn't. I can understand why people would maybe throw out accusations about Biggie and all of that stuff. But Tupac, come on. You just don't know. That's like having something done to a family member.
Yeah.
You just don't. That's just not the code we live by.
Now, after Tupac passed and Suge went to jail and all that stuff, you started running Death Row after Norris Anderson ran it for a while. You started in what, 98 running?
No. I started in Suge went to jail in October of 96.
Okay.
He got convicted in March or February of 97. And so about June or July of 97 is when I started dealing with the day-to-day operations of Death Row Records.
Okay. And then I've always wanted to ask you this question, but I always end up forgetting. Daz, on many occasions, would leave and then come back. Like, he would leave, do his own independent thing, and then he would come back, and then he would leave, and then he would come back. So my question is, at one point he left, and then he came back, and that's when you guys were doing the Dog Pound Records thing with him and Big C Style and all that. I'm curious. Oh, no?
Well, what happened with that, Daz's album was about to come out, and he had an artist named Superfly that we were going to do something. We did a video on Superfly. And then we were working Daz's single album that he did by himself. But during that time, and then Daz did finish up, I think, Gang Related or one of the soundtracks that we had put out during that period. And so what happened with Daz was we were going to do a video on Daz, and that's when Snoop was out, and we had got rid of sold Snoop to Master P and Priority Records. But Snoop was still jibber-jabbing a little bit, and we went to a Master P was doing a concert at the Universal Theaters, and so we felt that Snoop needed to be talked to. We went to talk to Snoop, and some things got out of hand, and I think Daz was there with him, and he saw things get out of hand, and, that's his cousin, and he didn't like that, and so that's when he kind of started not being cooperative, and then that's when I told him, hey, no video for you. I'm going to do it animated. And that's when I did an animated video on him, on that single. And that's what made him. Yeah,
might sound crazy.
Yeah, might sound crazy.
Yeah.
I did that animated.
But I was always under the impression that, like, even after Retaliation, Revenge, and Get Back, his solo album, he left and did, I can't remember the name of the independent label. I want to say, I can't remember what it was. But then he came back to do like Dog Pound Records, and then he started working on Chronic 2000, and then it went into what
like
you were talking about, kind of around 2000.
Well, Revenge, whatever that album was that Daz did, that came out in like 97, like 98. And so he did leave for a little while, and then, of course, as Daz do, but Daz is a little bipolar, and that's why he smokes so much weed. And he's emotional like a woman. And so he did come back. Him and Big C Style did come back. And, well, Big C Style never left. He always been, 100 with us. And that's when we was going to do a label with them, helping them out to do some things. And then I did the logo with like a blood and Crip rag.
Yeah, the ad. Yep.
And so they were a little upset behind that, but they were cool with it. They were making money. So
that's what I was going to ask. So when he leaves,
what happened with Daz was Suge. He went up there. Daz had all these minds about doing a video for every song. I want to do that's when he had somebody that had a little $10,000 camera and he wanted to go around doing videos. And then that's when Suge, quite frankly, said, Daz, I don't need you as a rapper. I need you as a producer. Daz, or if you ever notice, and you look at any of Death Row music videos or anything, Daz was in every video. Daz was one of those that wanted to shine. He wanted to be in the videos and be seen, and he wanted to rap and all of that. And that's what Suge was pretty much told him, hey, Daz, you a hell of a producer, man. Stick to producing. Stop always trying to want to rap. And we're not doing no more albums on you. We're not doing anything with you as a rapper. We're doing stuff with you as a producer. And when he got in the car with me and he was kind of upset and he was like, and that's when we kind of fell out with that. And then that's when
So when he left, one of the times and came back to do the record label with you guys, what sort of because you were running the label at the time, so what I'm curious is, like, what sort of check would he get to get him to come back? You know what I mean? Like, would he be like, here's $1 million, here's 500,000? Like, what would he be looking at getting?
Nobody got no money. Okay. I mean, he didn't. I mean, every time we give Daz a check for $75,000 or something like that, just advance them something, gave him something. But I technically own all of Daz publishing rights now. I did a buyout. If you ever see the name Big Simon says,
publishing.
out there, that's me, publishing. I own all of that. I did buyouts with everybody. So technically, anybody getting any royalty checks or anything like that is not supposed to be getting them. But I just, left everything alone. Once the bankruptcy and all of that thing, I just went my own separate way. But it's a production company out there that did brought all the production and the writers credit from it, which is Big Simon Says Music and Big Simon Says Production, which is owned by Reggie. Reggie.
Okay.
And I did a buyout with that with all those rights and stuff.
Okay, So when Nate Dogg ended up leaving and going to Breakaway, why was there so much bad feelings towards Nate Dogg? Because I know, like, in The Office there was the picture that he had that was drawn on of Nate Dogg and all that stuff. I was just curious if there was more to that fallout than people know, because it seems like there was a lot of animosity there.
Nate Dogg was sold just like all of them. We started selling them. They were valuable pieces. I mean, the record company only needed stuff that was done by Dre, Snoop, and Tupac at the time. And I always called us like becoming Capitol Records. I was just like, we're just going to maintain. We're going to live off the catalog and stuff like that for now until Suge came home. Which we did. We were debt free and everything when Suge came home. We had $8 million sitting in an appeal bond on corrupt little judgment with the Broomfields. So, the building was caught up and paid for. The monthly payments was being paid. It wasn't until Suge came home that everything got all fucked up. but he didn't want to pay
Yeah.
bills, and you know, he was paying everything for himself and not and not investing back into the company, which was fine. I mean, by then I was gone. I was at American Music over there running that and doing some albums over there with All for One and some groups like that. The Relatives and stuff like that. Some groups, Lil Kiki and all of them. So I was over there dealing with American Music at that time. So
okay.
I forget the question, but like
about Nate Dogg, just there.
Yeah, Nate Dogg. So we sold him for $500,000 a breakaway record, and that was that. I don't remember any really bad blood with Nate Dogg. Nate Dogg was always out and about. That's when he was becoming the king of hooks. Then he was just doing hooks for everybody. So there wasn't no bad blood with Nate Dogg.
Okay. There's, I hate to keep going back to them, but with RJ Bonds and all that stuff, they do a lot of videos and a lot of information to where it's pretty much common knowledge on YouTube that you have a case pending. They've thrown a lot of stuff out there, a lot of accusations, and said that you're doing certain things. I don't want to cause any drama with your case because it's pending, but is there anything that you want to speak on that you've seen them accuse you of? And I don't even want to say what they accuse you.
People always trying to say that I'm Reggie the Rat or snitching. And number one, I ain't deal with no Mexicans. I was dealing with marijuana. That's a white boy game. No Mexicans. They only have the cheap stuff, the outside stuff. Didn't deal with that. Number two, they saying I'm ratting or snitching. If that was the case, you wouldn't be able to get any information off of my case. It would be sealed. So let's keep that theory out. My dad, he got caught up because I used his name on some checking accounts. That's it.
Which you guys have the same name, so that's understandable.
And all of that, and I used some stuff, and so I got him caught up. My dad is not dirty or anything, but that's the thing they want to put out. He calling people scumbags and stuff like that he know nothing about. I never disrespect RJ or call him names, but that's just how they want to be, and but that's the type of person that they are. But
gotcha.
But that's that.
Okay.
I'll speak on that.
Yeah. Okay. So, with the A&E specials and all that, were there any information that you saw watching the episodes that maybe was new to you or that you didn't know, or was everything on there? If it wasn't just a blatant lie, it was just kind of common knowledge.
Yeah, well, they dealt with all the different theories and stuff like that. And I thought they did a good job. I understand why they shot the Keefy D theory down, but they don't understand that really did happen, and that was the truth on the Keefy D thing. And guess what guys did? I mean, I know all the drama that it caused his family when he told and did that, and Orlando mother being upset with him, and with Keefy, and which is her brother, and he pretty much had to explain to him, hey, I had to do this to save all our lives. We were all facing time, and people don't understand. 3, he had an immunity deal. The other 2 people were there, and the third person is just like anybody, somebody else telling. As long as that person that never cooperated or corroborated, nothing that could happen to him. So, I've been saying from day one that's what happened with the shooting. You look at the Bible, that was done a month or 2 after that. I told him it was the Southside Compton Crips that had something to do with it. People just don't want to believe that, but I mean, people that's in the know, they know the truth and they believe it. it's just people that want to keep stuff going and want to make money off of some, they keep trying to say how they don't make money. They try to make money off of it. It's just that battle for Compton bullshit was so much bullshit. They had to give it away. And the only reason they're giving it away now is trying to show people like Amazon and YouTube and all of that that hey, we got this many people watching it and stuff. There is some interest in it. But,
Gotcha.
I think they fail with that as well. So I'd love to see what their next conspiracy theory going to be.
Yeah. When they in the Who Killed Tupac A&E Special, when they brought up the gun, was that the first you'd seen of that, or were you notified in '98 or whenever it was that they found that gun that they thought was the murder weapon?
I don't know when they found it. I think it was a little later, like 2006 or 2007, when they were supposed to found it, or whenever the police department disbanded, which was like 2001, which they got wrong again. But anyway, the police department disbanded in 2001. I don't know when Timmy was supposed to have found it or whatever. But I don't know much about that.
Yeah. So that stuff was somewhat new.
Yeah, they just try to make it seem like they're the reason that they investigated. Now, I think the LAPD and the ATF just wanted to come out and say, hey, we know where the gun is. We don't have nothing to do with it. But they just came out with a statement, I guess, recently just saying, hey, we have the gun, meaning ATF. But the ballistic reports is, is coming back inconclusive, I think is what was said. Not that it was or wasn't, just inconclusive. But I don't know much about it. I don't, I don't talk to them about that. And
when people say that there's a payroll file that said O. Anderson, that was from, didn't at one time you guys talk to him to get him to testify on Suge's behalf when he was facing going back to jail because of the MGM incident, or or is that what people were referring to when they say that there's a file?
Well, what happened, and all it was it was a settlement from the assault that happened.
Settlement. Okay.
And that the Tupac estate paid out for the assault from the lawsuit. They were just trying to get rid of all lawsuits. I think at that time she paid off Tupac's dad. She paid off that. She was just trying to get everything cleared up so she could have everything free and clear, which was a smart move on the mama. What she did was just, when she got the settlement from Death Row and Interscope, she just started paying off different, judgments and lawsuits that he had pending. So she got everything cleared up. So that's all that was. So it wasn't paid for coming to court. It was just something between the attorneys that got worked out to say, hey, we'll settle this case with you, but in return, we need you to come to court and say this, tell the truth. And which he just pretty much came and said, hey, I felt like Suge would save my life. He was getting no guys off of me, which on the tape you can see that he was getting them off of him. Now, I do believe he put an ambiguous kick in. He snuck one in because he kept holding his leg. I think he was like, get off me, and gave a But like I said earlier in the interview, it took the judge 13 times to determine, in his opinion, that it was a case. I think if it was a jury of 12, I think 2 or 3 people would have said, no, he was just trying to get him off of him.
Yeah.
That's what I believe.
Yeah. From you being around that one, the little less than a year that he was out of jail, how many, and I don't want you to name names or anything, but just if you had to guess, how many fights would you say you saw Tupac involved in when he was out on bail at the label? Because the only reason I ask is, from my understanding, it was kind of a regular occurrence. Is that accurate or is that not accurate?
To be honest, I I didn't see him getting involved in any fights. There were things that happened in the studio that was loud, and you know, was it the Sam Seed incident? I think. I don't know if that was one of their OFTVs or something like that. But just little stuff like that. But as far as on the streets or anything like that, it was nothing. You know, that was the security that was to keep him on. Plus, he was out on a appeal bond. He wasn't trying to get he wasn't trying to go back to jail. I can honestly say that he had no intentions or no desire to go back to jail. So things had happened. You know, we were out and about, and you know, we was, things was happening, but he was protected. It was surprising to me, and you know that he went and did what he did to Orlando, which I wish he wouldn't have went down like that. But you know, that was.
Had that not happened, where do you think Tupac or Death Row, where do you think it would be right now? I mean, I know it's impossible to say, but by you being there and knowing what was going on at the time, had that incident not happened, how far do you think that label could have gone, or Tupac as an artist could have gone?
Well, who knows? You know, who knows what the judicial system would have did with him on the appeal bond. I know Suge would have made whatever happened to keep him happy. That's how Suge was. Suge would have made him happen. Snoop wouldn't have left. He wouldn't have let Snoop. That would have got worked out. You know, people don't realize it, but Snoop and Tupac, they really had issues after that MTV. When we came back from the MTV Awards because of the interview he did on the radio station, that really had Tupac upset. But I'm sure that would have eventually got worked out. So I don't believe Tupac or Snoop would have left. I believe they would have got their labels, and Death Row was distributed in them. I think we might have got in trouble with the government. Because they were on us deep then. They were following us good. And,
what were they looking for when they were following you? Just anything? Anything they could find?
Yeah, the violence and stuff. And then you had people going testifying, talking about, the Michael Harrios and them saying that they started the money with drug money and stuff like that. You got to remember, this was a black-owned label that was making money. And had a lot of control and a lot of people listening to. We were putting money behind the 3-strike laws and all that at that time, and people were listening. And so that was really the fall for a lot of it. You had Dan Quayle and Bob Doyle, who were powerful people at that time, that was speaking on this label. They had got off the IT thing and that type of music. You had Time Warner, who was investing in them, who was starting to try to break away because they were trying to get the cable deals, which we noticed they did. That's why Time Warner Cable now, which they were trying to get at that time. That people, they were holding all of that up because it was like, y'all in business with these people. That's when they started selling off those assets and stuff like that. So a lot that was going on. So I think the government would eventually got us somehow. And I think once Suge got incarcerated and everything, it seemed like everything was defunct. Then that's when the government took off.
Yeah. When it comes to this will be the last question about the Tupac stuff. But when it comes to the Greg Kidd, to the murder rap, I know you believe that it was Orlando and Keefe D and all them. Do you believe also that it went as far as Puffy, ordering, or not so much as ordering, but offering to pay if it were to happen? Do you think that's true?
I think that they had that conversation, but I think the reason why he didn't want to pay or didn't pay was because he knew that, hey, it was just like one of your boys got beat up, and that's the reason y'all went and retaliated and did what y'all did. It wasn't that y'all did it because of the conversation we had. It was because of the conversation that, it was because of the incident that happened in the MGM.
Right.
Which I heard, and I believe that Puffy did pay some money to it just for it to go away because they were pushing up on him. They were pushing.
Yeah.
That's why they showed up at the Peterson Museum that night. They were on him. That's why he hired, instead of having them with him, he hired off-duty Inglewood cops at the last minute. Quiet as kept.
I see.
Reached out to my security company.
Oh, yeah?
For not knowing who he was talking to or dealing with, or whoever his people was, for looking for off-duty cops to work.
Gotcha.
That was some last-minute stuff that was going down. And that was because the people that he normally had with him was pushing up on him. That's why in the movie, Lil Cease was answering the phone, and people were threatening him there. Nobody from Death Row knew Lil Cease' phone number. That was the people that they used to hang with, bringing them a weed and all of that. That was calling, threatening them. With those Southside Crips. So they try to tell it. They trying to tell it, but people just don't catch it. They don't be catching. They don't be knowing what's be going on. But that's what was. Yeah. That's what really was going on.
Crazy. Crazy
like I said,
stuff.
I believe, Puffy and them had that conversation, but I wouldn't have paid either because I would have been like, hey, no, y'all didn't.
You would have done it anyway, so I'm not going to pay.
Y'all did it because, in fairness to what they saying, it was like, well, that gave us extra incentive to do it.
Yeah.
Because we knew we were going to get paid, and, we was killing two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
That's
well, the last time we did a little interview, you had messages to people that were talking about you. Before we wrap up this one, is there anything you want to say to anyone, or did we kind of cover everything that you would want to speak on?
No, he's irrelevant. That nigga got 1,000 followers, if that. So I'm not even going to waste my time on him. And, RJ and JMX, I done found out that his little few listeners, you can't say nothing, or the people that they got, they already got him washed, or they just like talking. They just like talking head over the, type it on the internet. So I'll just let them be who they are. But I don't know how people could keep listening to their theories. It's just their theories are so crazy. If they even investigate or even knew half of the people that they basing their opinions on, these Danny Pattons and all of them, they knew what they are. These are molesters and people that's in jail for, I think one's in the crazy house or something like that. And the girl that wrote the letter, a little 13, 14-year-old girl, how they even listen to these people or why they going to, continue to believe it. You can tell them anything. That's who their followers are.
Gotcha. Okay, so do you think the A&E thing will make them stop not using, but believing that one, or you think they're just going to discredit they have so far the A&E staff?
No, I mean, law enforcement, this is dead to them. I mean, they know the truth. So both Vegas and LAPD know the truth of what happened. So law investigation is pretty much a standstill. But I mean, RJ and JMX, they gonna keep pushing whatever they'll be coming up with a new theory. They have a new revelation in about another 3 to 4 months. Something new they'll be on. They'll ride out this Greg Kading. That'll give them something to talk about each week. The Greg Kading's series that will be on in February. And I know BET
Yeah.
will be doing one.
Oh, they're doing like a death row documentary, right?
Yeah, death row documentary. So that'll give them something to talk about. Then after that, then they'll be shitting on them and telling how bad they are and how everybody liars and this, and then they'll come on to a new theory. Just something to keep them going.
Yeah.
That's their hustle. That's their hustle. They just need to tell people that's their hustle. Stop trying to act like they out there trying to solve something.
Find justice for Tupac.
Yeah, find justice. Say, hey, this is what we like doing. Just give us our little 15 minutes of fame. Just make me feel good to come home and get on this website and talk shit, and this is what I like to do.
Do you think if you ever saw any of the guys that talk bad about you and that call you names, do you think they would ever say anything to you, to your face? I don't mean that in a threatening way, like that you would have something done to them or do something to them, but I wonder if, in your opinion, do you think back like, you know what, I wish I would bump into these guys and then actually have a conversation and tell me why they think I'm this awful person or worse, any of this stuff.
I'll be honest, I was thinking about going on and debating with the JMX. I told them to contact you and set it up and all of that. But I didn't realize their followers is their followers, and they're going to believe. They wouldn't believe anything that's been told to them truthfully anyway. They want to believe whatever JMX and them. And then it doesn't behoove them to hear the truth or anything like that. RJ would just get so tough. He think he's the biggest, baddest guy behind that mic. And so he would just come off so aggressively. But I had told GMX to reach out to you and try to set it up where we can debate all of these different things.
Oh, okay.
But he obviously hasn't. And
to be honest, I don't check that email account very much, so he may have, and I just haven't seen it. But I will look. I'll look and see.
Yeah, but I don't think they'll want to hear it because he tried to say he got all these things that he would expose me on lies that I done told, and I don't ever remember rebutting anything that I said or changing up stories. They're the ones that do all the changing up stories, them and Frank. And so I don't know where he gets, but that was, he told his listeners that he would call me off on all my different lies. But I don't know what lies he could say that I said, because I always said, the same stories. When you're telling the truth, it's easy to stick to the truth. They're the ones that, RJ the one to get up and just create shit. I mean, knowing the real and this is the thing that he say, I'd be like, dang, where did he get that from? Why is he? And he makes it sound like he got factuals. They always got anonymous sources. Anonymous sources is usually your theory, your bullshit. Mm-hmm. But they both got so many anonymous sources. Anyway. Yeah.